I sent the verification code that was sent to the BFF to my list celebrity ex-boyfriend by mistake. The ex-boyfriend replied in seconds. 1607. Room number. Can't help but look for me finally. Do you think I'll go? As if. Is. Still the same hotel. On my way. I'll be there in half an hour. Don't think too much. I'm not getting back together with you. It's just that the water's out at my house tonight. I'm just going to take a shower. Although I've been practicing my six-pack lately. It's not something you can just look at. I replied to him with a confused grimace. I just sent the wrong one. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed for a good night's sleep. The next day, trending topics blew up. The always high-flying A-list celebrity actually hugged the tree in front of the hotel and cried like a whistling teacup. My hands were numb when I opened my phone in the morning. Countless messages swarmed my phone. Before I could even read them, I got a call from BFF Mia. Range. Come on. Tell me what the hell you did to Xander Shih. I was confused. What? I didn't do anything. How could you? She sounded as excited as a gossip-hungry squirrel. What kind of ex-girlfriend does he have besides you? Look at the trending topics. Xander Shih's ex-girlfriends are all over the charts. It's even on trending topics. An ominous feeling surged in the bottom of my heart. And then I remembered that I seemed to have sent a message to Xander Shih last night. That time, Mia wanted to log into my video membership account to watch a drama, and I wanted to send her the verification code. But I accidentally sent it to Xander Shih by mistake. He, however, thought that what I sent him was the hotel room number and said he would be there in half an hour. Not only that, but also lustfully told me that his six-pack was well practiced. Hee. I see handsome men every day in the entertainment industry. Would I care about his 8 pieces of six-pack? I cleared up the misunderstanding at that time and told him. I just sent the wrong one. It wasn't until I opened my cell phone this morning that I realized. Xander Shih actually replied to me 99 after this message, sent by mistake. What do you mean, cowardly woman? You're backing out now. Or are you inviting someone else? You invited me first. If you dare to find someone else, I'll go to the door of the room and call the police to arrest you. Just kidding. You know I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Why find someone else? Do you think that I'm not as good as other men? 8pisesexpack.jpg. I slipped and clicked the wrong one. I didn't mean to post it. I don't think you saw that, did you? Another angle of the 8-piece sixpack.jpg. Okay. I admit I took too long before and tossed you around a bit. I promise to hurry up in the future. And I promise to keep it under an hour. 50 minutes. No less. Why hasn't gotten back to me yet? Is it already started? Don't do with him. I'm just afraid you'll be cheated. Get back to me, okay? Heartbroken puppy drenched in rain.jpg. I'm already at the door. You guys are so loud. I'm the one who's late. Can't do blessing. Leaving is my last fulfillment for you. I'm dizzy from watching it. What's all this? I post a few words and he can brainstorm an entire legal codex, and he actually went to that hotel. At least he's an A-list celebrity singer now. Usually with a high-flying demeanor and one sad love song after another. I thought he had improved, but he's still the same as before, stupid and sick. A proper hopeless romantic. I took a deep breath and mustered up the courage to open trending topics. The words related to Xander Shih took up half of the page. It turns out that Xander Shih's behavior in front of the hotel last night was captured by some passersby and posted online. In the video, Xander Shih hugged a big tree outside the hotel and cried like a whistling tea kettle. I came as fast as I could. Why am I still a step too late? Is that man really better than me? He cried and sang. I love like a clown. You left without a word. Not even a wave. The comment section is full of people who are eating it up. Xander Shih is actually a hopeless romantic. I can't tell. This ex-girlfriend is a bit of a bully. It sounds like she called Xander Shih and another man to the hotel. But Xander Shih was late. And she got a room with another guy first. It's too much. Guard re. Excel. He'll definitely meet a better one. Like me. Who's his ex-girlfriend? Someone in the circle. Can you humanize it? I shivered inside and closed my eyes in despair. Things were more serious than I had imagined, luckily. When I was in a relationship with Xander Shi, I kept it a secret. And back then I was a pasteurized curmudgeon. Not many people knew me. So the trending topics have been up for a few hours. But no one has picked me out yet, only my BFF Mia knows the inside story. No. You mean this is all because you sent him a verification code by mistake, said Mia. Dumbfounded, I let out a long sigh. Yes. Originally I was going to send a message to Xander Shi to explain. As a result, I just sent out the sentence "that's not the room number" and realized that Xander Shi had already deleted me. He also tweeted a sad little essay. The moment I deleted you, I finally let go. We can't go back, but having a good time as a result. From now on, it's a one-way journey for one person. Every sunrise and sunset for one person. Even if I miss you again, I won't bother you anymore. The comment section was once again triggered. Excel doesn't cry. The ex doesn't deserve it. Brother, are these the lyrics of the new song? Xander Shi will have to write a few more sad love songs if he's not going to say anything. Fans are in for a treat. While Xander Shi cried until he was crying, fans in the comment section were laughing and reveling in the joy of the upcoming new song. Mia swiped her Twitter and TSK twice. Xander Shi is not very sick. If hopeless romantic is sentenced, he will definitely be the first to die. But you don't have to worry too much. As long as your chat logs aren't leaked, no one will know it's you. As long as your chat logs are not leaked and no one knows it's you, you'll be fine after you've escaped the storm. It was fine if she didn't mention it, but once she did, my hanging heart completely died. There's no way to avoid it. I cried, as if I had died. We're taping a variety show this afternoon. Xander Shi and I, we both have to go to. Some are still alive, but buried. When I arrived at the taping site, I almost fainted when I saw the distribution of the guest positions. In the middle of the studio was a round table, and my seat and Xander Shi's seat actually next to each other. What kind of smart person arranges the seating? By now, Xander Shi was already sitting at the round table. I followed the guide's instructions and took my seat next to Xander Shi. Instantly, his body became stiff and rigid. He didn't even dare to look at me, deliberately averting his face, his whole body looking up at 45 degrees to the ceiling. Like a condescending stone statue, this deathly pretense made me want to laugh for no reason at all. Who would have thought that just as I hooked up the corner of my lips, Xander Shi glared at me. That look is full of grief. As if to say, you hurt me, but also laugh it off. No. He was clearly looking at the ceiling. How did he realize I was smiling? I couldn't help but feel guilty and lowered my voice to explain. Actually, last night's message. Just as I opened my mouth, Xander Shi's face changed dramatically, deliberately interrupting me to ask the guide, "When does the program start?" She said, "I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it," before I had a chance to explain. The broadcast started. The variety show is called Goodbye Lovers and is the first breakup variety show in China. The program team chose 3 pairs of lovers who have broken up, looking back on the beauty of being in love and dissecting the problems in love. But we are not the breakup lovers chosen by the program group, but the celebrity guests in the observation room. As early as 2 days ago, the 3 pairs of breakup lovers completed the first recording. Instead, we take a third-person perspective and explore the sweet and sour of their relationship. What were the reasons for your breakup, in the first place? This is the first question the program team threw out to the 3 pairs of breakup lovers. After reading their answers, it was the turn of the observation room to discuss. We all know that Xander Shi was hurt badly by his ex-girlfriend last night, but we didn't expect the hosts to get right in his face and open up a can of worms. I think all 3 of these couples' reasons for breaking up are understandable. But Xander Shi, as an A-list celebrity singer, you are so handsome and talented. I really can't imagine why your ex-girlfriend broke up with you. Wait a minute. We're supposed to be talking about those 3 couples. Why are you suddenly starting to publicly execute me? Xander she rubbed his reddened nose and grumbled. She told me that close relatives can't get married. So she wants to break up with me. The host was shocked. What kind of close relatives? Are you two long-lost siblings? Xander she gritted his teeth, and every word seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth. She said we all share a common mother named China. I closed my eyes in despair, wishing I could disappear. Unsurprisingly, all the guests cracked up. Some of the guests started to help Xander she claim me. She must have cheated on me to use such an outrageous excuse. Xander she immediately retorted. No way. She's the kindest girl I've ever met. She wouldn't do that. She's kind. She's kind enough to ask you to go to a hotel room with another guy at the same time. The whole room held its breath at this statement. All eyes turned to Xander she. Waiting to see how else he'd round it up, Xander she's eyes reddened slightly as he lowered his head and explained in a small voice. Do not blame her. She just sent the room number to the wrong person. It was me who made a fool of myself and thought that she had changed her mind back. A guest stared wide-eyed. What? Playing so wild. She even sent you the hotel room number. What else did she say? Just said a room number. After a while and said that it was sent to the wrong. Maybe at the moment she sent it to someone else. She couldn't help but think of our past. So she sent it to me by mistake. She had me in her heart. The guests present at the meeting were filled with a face written in a difficult-to-say. Already do not want to persuade again. The pop-up screen in the live room also boiled. The room number was sent to the wrong person. Deliberate. Right. Just bullying Xander she. The hopeless romantic.no. Your ex-girlfriend has gone to get a room with someone else. And you're still reminiscing about your lost love. You're so stubborn. May I ask which way to kowtow to meet these hopeless romantic dudes? I'd like to cheat a few of them too. Everyone is in pain. Only I am as quiet as a chicken. After all the other guests had made their comments, the host finally found me, the one who slipped through the cracks. Luna Jiang. What do you think? I couldn't help but glance at Xander she. He looked uneasy, his eyes downcast, his hands crumpling his pants under the table. I had no doubt that if he wasn't in the studio at the moment, he would have covered his ears and run. Suddenly I'm curious how he'll react when he learns the truth. So I cleared my throat and spoke slowly. Is it possible that the number she sent you didn't mean something other than the room number? The host frowned and asked. Such as, for example, the text message verification code. In a flash, Xander she raised his eyes, which lit up amazingly brightly. The other guests were questioning my idea. How can that be, nowadays? Anti-fraud propaganda is so well done that you can't easily send verification codes to people. Besides, the verification code is 6 digits and the room number is 3 or 4 digits. It doesn't match. But Xander she suddenly interjected. There is indeed a 4-digit verification code. I've seen it before. He looked at me with a burning gaze and an expectant light in his eyes. You said that what she sent by mistake was just a verification code and she didn't go to a room with someone else. Is that true? How can you ask me this? I can't just make a fool out of myself. I can only smile a little. Maybe she wanted to explain to you too, but I saw your tweet that you seem to have deleted her. It's all my fault. Xander she immediately reflected on himself and asked me in a chagrined voice. Then, do you think she would agree if I added her back? I'm not sure. The host immediately dug in. Xander she. You can add one on the spot and see if your ex-girlfriend agrees. The whole audience was looking forward to the show, and the guide was even preparing to cast the screen. I was immediately nervous. Many people in the circle have my WeChat and can recognize me at a glance at my avatar. If I cast a screen, I would be exposed in minutes. So without waiting for Xander she to say anything, I declined first. Let's give Xander she some space. After all, they've already broken up. So don't flog them repeatedly in front of the public. This comment was immediately embraced by the pop-ups. The hosts are sick, picking at people's wounds for the sake of heat. Although I also want to eat melon, but Xander she looks like he's about to break. Save a pair of pants for the kid. Luna Jiang, who must have seen that Xander she was very sad and kept quiet when others scolded him before. Also reassured Xander Shi that he had mistakenly sent the verification code, leaving him with enough decency. She's got a really high IQ. Luna Jiang is some kind little angel. Xander Shi don't think about his ex-girlfriend. Look at Luna Jiang. I think she'll be good to you. Luna Jiang may not be as famous as Xander Shi, but she's pretty, kind and gentle, good at acting, and she's never been rumored. Some people have said that she is the ideal sister-in-law. So if my brother is with her, the fans will be relieved. Xander Shi. Forget about the bad girls and go after Luna Jiang by your side. I smiled calmly on the surface, but I was in a panic. If the netizens knew that the bad woman they were talking about and Luna Jiang were the same person, I was afraid I would die without a trace after the program ended. I ran away quickly. Xander Shi wanted to stop me, but he was surrounded by fans. I was relieved to finally make it through the day. In the car I took a nap. Who knew that just as I opened my eyes, I would get several friend requests from Xander Shi in a row. That's really just verification code, isn't it? Today's recording made $2 million. All transferred to you. Please, tell me it's really just verification code. Well, you should just coax me on the program. Even if it's not, I'll admit it. At least you coaxed me to put in some effort. Why haven't you approved my friend request yet? I'm wrong. Please let me add back. Okay. How come a friend add request can be played into a chat box by him? If he doesn't pass it again, I guess he's going to explode in place. I sighed and passed the friend. The person on the other end got excited in seconds and sent a happy puppy emoticon. I replied, it's really just verification code. I would have sent it to Mia. Xander Shi immediately sent 8 exclamation points. I knew it. You're too good to lie to me. Puppy dancing.jpg. Actually, I sent you my 6-pack photo last night on purpose. I said you weren't allowed to look at it casually before, so I was pretending to be reserved. I've been working out since we broke up in the hope that you'll be satisfied when we get back together. Do you want to see it again? I can record a video to show you 360 degrees. Seeing that he started to compile entire legal codex again, I stopped in time. No need. I've transferred the money back to you. There's nothing else to do. I'm going to take off my makeup. So don't come back. Xander Shi immediately behaved himself. Understand. I've read what the horoscope guru said. Your sign just doesn't like to reply to messages. I don't blame you. All the money I earn is yours. If you don't want it now, I'll save it up for you and give it to you when we get back together. I'm not trying to force you to get back together right away. You just follow your rhythm. I promise to cooperate. After this message, he really did not return. I am relieved to go to remove makeup and wash. Tense nerves of the day finally soothed down, although there are still a few more installments of the variety show to record. After surviving today's peak heat, it should be a lot easier later on. Unexpectedly, I laid down on the bed and was just about to close my eyes. Mia's phone rang again. Range Moon. Look at Weibo. You and Xander share on trending topics again. Didn't we just do it this morning? I'm numb. It's different. The morning's trending topic was Xander Shi's ex-girlfriend, without mentioning your name. Now in the trending topics, your name is directly linked to Xander Shi. What? My eyes glazed over and I clicked on Twitter. The cause was the formation of a small group of CP fans of Xander Shi and I after today's variety show. The purpose of the CP fans was to get Xander Shi to drop his ex and come after me. The good sister-in-law they recognized, IT was supposed to be just a small amount of entertainment. Unexpectedly, Xander Shi actually followed the Super Talk directly and liked the video edited by CP fans. The influence of a list celebrity is huge. In just a few minutes, Super Talk blew up. Trending topics blew up. The phrase Xander Shi Luna Jiang went straight to the top of trending topics. Xander Shi fans were overjoyed. Xander Shi has decided to give up his past so quickly. Good for you. I didn't want Excel to fall in love before, but when I found out that his ex-girlfriend hurt him so much, I still hope that a girl can heal her. If the old doesn't go away, the new won't come. I think Luna Jiang is a great new sister-in-law. I've had very few opportunities to be in the same frame with Xander Shi. and today's variety show footage was used to rehash and cut. Many details have been enlarged. For example, I secretly observed Xander Shi's eyes, for example. Xander Shi deliberately avoided my nervousness, for example. His nervousness when our eyes met. A good breakup variety show turned into a candy variety show for Xander Shi and me. Fans have gone to leave comments under the official blog of Goodbye Lovers. Can you give Xander Shi and Luna Jiang more chances to get along? Can you give Xander Shi and Luna Jiang more chances to spend time together? The program team is very on board. Okay. It's arranged. So for the next installment, the team arranged for the 4 guests from the observation room to go into the villa and eat and live with the 3 pairs of breakup lovers to assist them in discovering the deeper issues in their relationship. I end this way. I can cross paths with Xander Shi in more diverse scenarios. CP fans are satisfied. Xander Shi is also satisfied. I cried. How is it that when you get paid for a share of observing guests, you still have to eat and live with your ex and work together to help others discover their breakups? We haven't even straightened out our own problems yet. Xander Shi and I broke up 2 years ago. We dated for 3 years before that. To be fair, Xander Shi was good to me when he was away from home. He would call me every day to report on his trip. When he was in the same city, he would come home every day to take care of the housework. And whenever he had a spare moment, he would pester me for stickers. However, we have also accumulated a lot of conflicts between us. Xander Shi is a singer and I am an actress. He became a star early on, and his popularity was much higher than mine. I've worked hard for years, bouncing from theater to theater, playing supporting roles. Xander Shi knew that I liked acting and was originally very supportive of me until a stunt harness accidentally broke during a martial arts scene, and I was sent to the hospital with a broken bone. That time, Xander Shi was at the recording site of a party and couldn't get away. When he arrived at the hospital and saw me emaciated on the bed, he was scared. From then on, he strictly regulated my schedule and didn't allow me to do any risky scenes. He also cancelled a lot of trips and came to the theater to keep a close eye on me. I do love him, but I am also very tired. I've argued with him many times, but Xander Shi is still overly worried, hating to screen out all potentially risky scripts, and even advising me to give up acting and he'll support me. Those words made me worried. I finally made up my mind to break up. I knew that no matter what reason I gave, Xander Shi would find a way to stay. So I simply found the most outrageous reason and turned around to join the cast of the new show. The show really put me on the map in the industry and my popularity started to rise. In just 2 years, I also became a hot little actress. I was even able to get invited to a variety show and sit next to Xander Shi. I can clearly feel that Xander Shi wants to get back together, but I didn't want to. The problems that once stood in our way, if we couldn't solve them, getting back together would just be a repeat. Point 3. Broken up lovers live in a villa in the suburbs. The show chartered a car to take the 4 observing guests there. The topic was festering so much online that the other 2 guests consciously took the front seat, leaving me to sit in the back with Xander Shi. The first half of the trip was pretty normal. During the second half of the program, many of the guests started to close their eyes. I also looked out the window to avoid too much contact with Xander Shi, but suddenly I felt a head on my shoulder. Xander Shi seemed to have fallen asleep. Soft hair brushed against my shoulder and a fresh scent of shampoo wafted into my nose, but I knew he was faking it. Why else would he be asleep and have red ears? Hey! I moved my shoulder slightly and Xander Shi woke up. Mr. Jiang. I'm dizzy. I feel like I'm getting carsick, he muttered weakly, his voice dripping with haggardness and difficulty. Can I borrow your shoulder to lean on? I'm so sick. I'll feel better if I lean on you. Of course it's okay if you can't. Can I say no with the camera in my face? And he seems really uncomfortable. I was a little heartbroken after all, and sat down and didn't move again. The pop-up screen was filled with question marks. What's going on? And why did Xander Shi suddenly become so teary-eyed? It doesn't matter if you can't. Just listen to this tone of resignation. And Luna Jiang didn't say no. Moon, moon, swoon, 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 swoon. I was going to look for candy with a magnifying glass, but I got a mouthful of snooze. I'm not sure. Let's see. Xander Shi just leaned on my shoulder all the way to the suburban villa. Thank you, Mr. Jiang. Leaning on your shoulder really makes me feel better. Xander she changed his previous avoidance in the studio and started to actively find excuses to talk to me. Who? I nodded calmly. Neither warm nor cold, it accurately positioned us in a co-worker relationship. 3 pairs of breakup lovers came out to greet us, teasing, saying that seeing us was like a poor student meeting a teacher correcting papers. In the last installment. We also dissected them in the studio. I end this installment. We came to them in person. It feels a little weird. And to liven things up, the crew has set up a little game, have the male guests of the breakup lovers blindfolded and see if they can figure out their ex-girlfriends by touching the female guests' hands. It was too difficult for the 3 female guests. So the program team asked me and another female observer to join in. As a result, the 3 male breakup guests, actually a total wipeout. None of them find the right one. Spicy pop-up comments. No wonder the breakup. Even their ex-girlfriend's hand cannot touch out. What's going on? When the male guest touched Luna Jiang's hand, why did Xander she have a grumpy look on his face? Something's wrong. Something's wrong with this kid. Seemingly in response to the pop-ups, the next moment, Xander she actually raised his hand. Are you guys doing this on purpose? How come you can't even touch your ex-girlfriend's hand? I'm a colleague with Ms. Jiang. I think I can even touch her hand. Xander she and ICP was being fired up, and the director was naturally happy to see this delivered heat. Then let Xander she give it a try. See if he can find the hand of Range Moon among the female guests. Xander she was blindfolded and walked in front of me and the other female guests. Instead of trying them one by one, he sniffed with his doggy nose, then walked right up to me, took my hand and touched it. Familiar and distant touches came flooding back. Once it was these hands that held me and cradled me to sleep on countless nights. The warmth of his hand was still the same as before. It's you, Mr. Jiang. Xander she took off his blindfold and looked at me with a smile in his bright eyes. My heart seems to have missed a beat in this instant. The pop-up screen also felt the flavor. Seeing Xander she's brainwashed behavior. Luna Jiang is not Xander she's ex-girlfriend. Is she? Damn. I was scolding my ex-girlfriend and hoping that Luna Jiang would become my new sister-in-law. What the hell? These 2 are the same person. I don't know yet. Let's see, after the game. There was a break for free chatting. I had just come out of the bathroom when I saw Xander she waiting for me outside. There are no cameras here, so it's a dead zone for surveillance. When he saw me, he stood up straight silently and actually had some heartbroken eyes. You, in these 2 years, have you suffered? This sentence of his has no beginning or end. I can't help but ask. What? I can feel that your hands are a lot rougher than they used to be. Do you have to do all the housework yourself without me? That's not your concern. I paused and decided to remind him. Xander she, we've broken up. The words fall, and there is already a broken light in Xander she's eyes. He looked like he was bracing himself, pulling out a smile that was worse than crying. Did you break up? So you can't care about you anymore? I asked back. Did you quit your job? So you can't get a paycheck? Xander she was silent and whispered. I know. I've been fired by you. I don't get paid. I just want to be your free labor. My heart was deeply helpless. Xander she. Pay attention to your status. Don't make a scene on the program. Our job is to be observers. The 3 broken-up lovers are the main characters. They are the main characters of the program. But you are my main character. Be professional. This is a breakup variety show, not a relationship variety show. I know. Xander she, who was criticized by me, had a red nose, and his voice was even choked with caution. I'm usually very dedicated, but if I miss this chance to spend time with you, you probably won't see me again. I just hope you'll give me another chance. And I'll definitely behave. My heart felt like it had been stabbed by his words and a blood bubble bloomed. The knife of memories poked through this blood bubble, and I cringed in pain. To say I don't miss him would be a lie, but there were more important things in my life. And if I had to do it all over again with the same result, it would just be a lose-lose situation. Xander she. I sighed and decided to cut off his entanglements. I don't like you anymore. He quietly listened to my words. His dark eyes looked at me for an instant, and there seemed to be a watery light rupture in his eyes, blinding his eyes. After a long time, he asked in a daze, "So, you really don't want me anymore?" His heartbreak was so obvious. Like a puppy in the rain, I thought I had my heart in the right place, but seeing his face like that still made my heart clench and smother me. My nose suddenly ached, and I blinked hard to hold back the moisture at the edges of my eyes, stiffly. I turned my back. Let's go. They should be looking for us if we don't show up. Probably because he was hurt by me. Xander, she didn't do anything on purpose. For the next 3 days, we focused on 3 pairs of breakup lovers, analyzing them from an outsider's point of view, helping them recognize themselves and learn from their experiences. Point 1 of the couples was very similar to Xander, she and me. The man's career was stronger than the woman's, and the man felt sorry for the woman's hard work and wanted her to give up her job and support herself. The man doesn't understand why the woman wants to break up with him when he's obviously doing what's best for her. This I have to talk about. Who expected that before I opened my mouth? Xander, she grabbed the first excited output. Does a woman have to cling to a man like a vine? She wants to walk alongside you, not just be your delicate vine. Isn't that good? The security a man brings is limited. Her happiness for the rest of her life at home full-time depends entirely on your conscience. And the fact that you are threatening to complain because she doesn't want to give up her job just shows that you don't have much of a conscience. If she doesn't eat the pain of work, she has to eat the pain of men. The suffering of a job can be rewarding, but the suffering of a man can be nothing. Her success or failure should not be based on your judgment, but on her own feelings. If she wants to stay at home to relax and rest, you will provide her with a comfortable environment. If she wants to struggle outside, you will provide her with understanding and assistance. A man should not be a burden to a woman, but rather a wing for her to fly high. Respect her and make her happy, not trapped by you. Don't try to make your lover live in the persona you give her. A flower is a flower whether it blooms or not. She is a flower with or without you. If you don't come to your senses now, you'll be waiting to chase your wife to the crematorium just like I did, and you won't even be able to recover after cremation. This dense and rapid, almost without pause output, truly stunned everyone. Previously, Xander She's comments were mostly gentle, like a spring breeze melting rain. This was the first time I had seen him so emotional. The pop-up screen also froze. What's going on? Listening to Excel's words, he's deeply emotional. Is that why he and his ex-girlfriend broke up? Then I feel it's understandable. Hopeless romantic is good at everything, but she's too clingy and always at a loss. It's actually very tiring for the woman to get along with him, but Xander She is good. He realizes the problem and thoroughly analyzes and reflects on himself. From his hopeless romantic perspective, it takes a lot of time to reflect on these things before they really sink in. I was also a bit surprised. I couldn't help but look at Xander She and met his eyes, sadness, helplessness, and a hint of pitiful anticipation. It seemed to say, "Look, I really know how to do it. I'll change." My heart softened. It was as if there had been a snowfall in my heart, and now the ice had melted away, revealing some new spring buds. The male guest who was scolded stammered, half a day hard to hold out a sentence. But she said she no longer loves me. If I change, can I really still have a chance? If you love you or not, your mouth will lie, but your heartbeat won't. The host pointed to the heartbeat monitor on the side and proposed to let the pair of male and female guests hold hands and look at each other to see how their heartbeat indexes. The result was unexpected. The woman's heartbeat was very steady. One might even say cold. The male fluctuated slightly, but to a very low degree as well. The double looks at each other, and the heartbeat is meager. This result made Xander She's gaze dim along with it. Guess it was self-substitution. Could it be a machine error? The host rounded up the conversation and suddenly changed his words. Xander She, why don't you try it with Ms. Luna Jiang and see if there's something wrong with the machine? Huh. Xander She froze and looked at me with caution in his eyes. Mr. Jiang, is that okay? Yes. It just so happens that I'm also curious as to what our heartbeat value is these days. I holstered my instrument and sat across from Xander. He extends his hand to me and I gently shake it. When I raised my head and my eyes met, the whole world seemed to stand still. There seemed to be an invisible rope that connected us tightly. I was immersed in his gaze, feeling the familiar warmth of his hand, which seemed to be silently calling for proximity and embrace. Wow, wow. Exclamations from the other guests behind us brought us back to reality. When we looked back, we saw that both Xander and I's heart rate had gone through the roof. The instruments were on fire. Xander's face flashed with stunned, dismayed, and then ecstasy. He looked at me and smiled a silly smile, driving me to laugh softly as well. I forgot to let go of his hand. The pop-ups have been noisy. It's solid. Luna Jiang is definitely Xander's ex-girlfriend. If Luna Jiang is Xander's ex-girlfriend, I'm willing to believe that she really sent the wrong verification code. Where was Luna Jiang that night? Found. Paparazzi caught Luna Jiang going downstairs in her pajamas to throw out the trash that night, after which she went upstairs and never came back down. That means she actually mistook the verification code for a room number. This is the biggest oops of the century. She is still outside the hotel hugging a tree and crying. I can't help but laugh again, ha 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 ha. It's over. What if it's better? The soft and gentle career-minded imperial lady and the crying hopeless romantic puppy. I will kowtow first. 3 broken-up lovers are speechless. What? Are we part of your play? This night is our last night in the suburban villa. I've always been a fast sleeper, but I actually lost sleep previously. I had always thought that my relationship with Xander was over, and I had deliberately restrained myself from thinking too much, but today's variety show and bursting heartbeat made me realize I still love him and he truly understands what went wrong with our breakup. Maybe we can have a do-over. I lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. I couldn't help but take out my cell phone and click on the CP Super Talk between the two of us. This brush cannot stop. Don't say. It's really quite good. Those little gestures and glances are so sweet even to me. My hand slipped and I accidentally clicked like. When I realized it, it was already too late. And soon, a Sharpie fan took a screenshot of my like record. I was chagrined, but to my surprise, just then, the door of the room was suddenly knocked. She stood pathetically outside the door, clutching a pillow. You. I can't sleep. Can I paste you to sleep? In that pitifulness, there was a hint of cunning and anticipation. I lowered my voice. This is a taped program. There are cameras outside the bedroom. I took them all down. Xander, she said with a wink. And I have a fever. It's so bad. Fever. I touched his forehead and it was really hot, and he was breathless and looked weak. Ugh. I compromised helplessly. Go lie down first. I'll take care of you. Xander, she hugged the pillow and lay down quickly, as if he was afraid that I would back out. You, aren't you going to lie down? I'll get you a glass of water. I walked over to the bed with the water, but was pulled into Xander's arms. His hot head is buried in the hollow of my shoulder, his hot breath puffing in my ear. Luna, I saw the superlatives you liked. You kowtowed to us too, didn't you? Being poked in the face by him, I couldn't wait to cast a recluse spell. Xander, she rubbed my face. Get back together. Okay. I did a bad job in the past and ignored your feelings. I promise to do better in the future, and I will respect your wishes. If I occasionally make a mistake, you can teach me a lesson with a whip. Anyway, we bought quite a few before, and I'm saving them all for when you come back to use them. At the mention of the whip, my mind couldn't help but conjure up some images from the past, and I immediately blushed. Don't talk if you have a fever. No, I'm going to say it. I'm afraid you'll ignore me if you go back. I won't. I blurted out. Xander, she reacted for a moment and his eyes widened in surprise. You mean, won't ignore you? I raised my head and looked at him seriously. You said get back together and I agreed. I want to give myself another chance too. In an instant, Xander's eyes lit up. He swept away the weakness and depression of the previous moment and hugged me with great vigor. I froze. Wait. Aren't you feverish? That's from the hot towel I just took. Why else would you have agreed to let me in the house? Xander, she hemmed and hawed, cupped my face and kissed me deeply. Then this time, can you give me a name? I don't want to be the man behind your back publicly anymore. Okay. I lost my smile. Now all the netizens know about us. It's hard not to make it public. Xander, she's face is full of joy. I have to thank my hopeless romantic. If I didn't take the verification code as the room number, how could I get my wife back? The spring night is full of romance. It's a good time to break a flower branch. The wind blows and wrinkles the water. The clouds and waves swell, and a night of sound. However, when Xander, she went out of my room early the next morning, the fixed camera outside the bedroom was, indeed, removed, but he just happened to meet the camera carrying a handheld camera, which captured him walking out of my room. The photography froze. Xander, she laughed. And the internet exploded. CP fans joyfully kowtowed to the amazing giant candy. The romance was directly confirmed. And there was no need to think about how to make it public. The key question now is, there are still several more sessions of the Goodbye Lovers variety show recording. How are we going to face the surging gossip and torture from the other guests? You can imagine what kind of a tough battle it will be to break through the sandpots and ask questions to the end. Don't be afraid. I hopeless romantic. It's all my pot. Xander, she didn't worry. He just held my hand tightly. Once I get my wife back, I'll be the happiest lickspittle in the world. I smile knowingly and tickle his pinky. Walking into the studio with him later in life, we walked the red carpet, the party, and the big screen together. We traveled over mountains, lakes, and seas, and over long years, time rushed forward and pushed the people I loved back to me. It is lost and found. It is as it should be. It is finally complete, fortunately. It's him who amazes the time. It is he who warms the years.